Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Online. Brad and I are doing a discussion over Star Wars Unlimited, specifically the starter set.
Yeah, the two-player starter.
The two-player starter set. Because I don't have the time, energy, or money to dive into a CCG. I actively avoid them. Not because I think that they're bad, it's just they cost money and time and energy. But this one's getting a lot of rave. I was very intrigued by it because Fantasy Flight kind of has pumped out the deck building game, which you and I did a review over, and it was good.
Yeah, I have the new.
You got the expansion
new
for
coming.
So, and then this one came out pretty much shortly after, and it's like, wait, it's a competitive CCG by Fantasy Flight. Okay, this will be dead in 2 years, like all of their other ones. But I was intrigued because I kept hearing good things. And I'm kind of conflicted. There's things about this game that I really like and things that I don't. And I think a lot of that is twofold. One, starters, like precons, is kind of like, could be a reason for that. And it's also because any CCG, any of them that are similar to this, Netrunner not really counting, I can't help but compare it to Magic because that's what I played the most of. So it feels like there's a lot of stuff here that is inspired by Commander and Magic, but trying to at least differentiate itself or fix issues with Magic as a system. So I think this is a good CCG, but I have some qualms with it. Overall. Brad, what do you think, as this person who watches Star Wars every day?
Yes. So, there's a lot I could say, within this deal, because Star Wars Destiny was their first iteration into the CCG style of thing. Mm-hmm. I do like Destiny's better than this because of the dice and just the way it plays. It felt more, this is good.
Yeah,
it's definitely the starter set. Like, just looking through some of the, because I bought, like I was telling you earlier, I bought 3 complete booster boxes, so I have all these cards that we didn't touch or anything.
Yeah,
that when you're deck building, as you do in CCGs, you can build to your liking.
Yeah,
I think these kind of weren't too focused on one thing. I guess these guys, the Imperials, kind of were, but like the Rebels, it was more like, hey, put a shields on these, shields on these, but they didn't have anything that maximized it or to be aggressive the other ways. So.
Because of the fact that you can't really, like, you get one action a turn, it's like, I see what they were trying to do with this. Like, okay, you heal more, you defense up, and then you kind of eventually try and do War of Attrition, except it's like, well, I can't really outlast you because you deal so much more damage than me.
I think they were just trying to put together 2 decks that showed off some of the keywords, and then, but so we've played this a few times back and forth, just the starter set.
Both sides playing. Normally it's like, okay, like, I get it, but like, I was like, okay, because the first game went so lopsided that it's like, ugh. And then the second game was a little bit closer. With the Rebels, I was like, okay, I'm starting to see it. But if you're getting the starter set specifically, this is kind of a negative for me. Is these are not balanced for each other.
Yeah, the Imperials have won all of them,
and I feel like that it's less of, well, I didn't draw the right cards. It's like, no, the Imperials are clearly more powerful, but I think I agree with you. It's more of like, well, it's not really meant to be balanced because they incentivize you to clearly buy boosters. Which to me is, I mean, it's like, well, that makes sense, but it's also shitty practice. It's like, well, okay, this fucking deck sucks, but I guess I'll spend hundreds of dollars to make the deck good. Yeah. That's CCG, though. That's not really a problem with this game specifically. It's a CCG overall. Because I'm sure these are the only precons, right?
Each series, so like the second... whatever they call them, cycle or set. There's a 2-player starter with that too. Okay, that has 2 others. So they come out with a 2-player starter for each. Set,
kind of probably showcasing what each set's bringing. Stuff. That's really what they're for. But you're really buying boosters to like get the idea.
But yeah, the stuff, because CCG wise, I haven't played very many CCGs.
Okay.
Like I've dipped my toe in Magic just a little bit.
Yeah.
Destiny's probably, I guess, would be the CCG I've played the most.
Yeah.
I've done LCGs, but that's a whole nother thing.
That's right, because Netrunner's an LCG.
Right, so everybody that's not pay to play like this.
Yeah.
These boosters, everybody has the access to the exact same cards and everything, so it rewards your deck building.
That I jump into a little bit more with LCGs because I don't want to spend money on stuff I'm not guaranteed to get.
Right. So what I did like about this was the resources. They're fiddly dealing with the cards. I think if I was to play this competitively, because I can almost guarantee, knowing the communities of these things, that they're going to be taking these cards for resources. They're going to set them here and they're going to have a dice there sitting on top of the cards.
Yeah.
Instead of moving the cards all over the place and stuff, because that's what the LC.
Because it literally. Because, it's the resources, I agree with you. I really like that you are guaranteed resources. One, you already start with 2 at the beginning. I really like that because that kind of kickstarts things. So it kind of skips the first, hopefully, few rounds of Magic where it's like, oh, I drew a mana, set, turn. Boom, set, turn. So you already start with 2, meaning you're kind of playing already. But at the end of each round, you draw 2 cards, and then you can play any card from your hand as a resource. So each round, if you want, you are guaranteed 1 resource.
Right.
I do really like that because the game does ramp way quicker. And I like that decision making of like, man, I like all these cards in my hand, but I need like 1 more resource. So, which one do I get rid of?
And then the other unique, I think, is having the different grounds, like ground unit, space unit. Instead of just playing cards out in one big area like in Magic and stuff like that, like that space can only attack space with the base, ground can only attack ground with the base. So it rewards you because what I think, I haven't looked all the way through that deck, but I think the Rebels have more spaceships. And because when I was playing, I drew a lot more spaceships, so like you could probably overwhelm in the spaceship aspect, whereas in Imperials, I didn't see very many ships come out. Like, you put out the Star Destroyer once, and I've seen 1 TIE Fighter. So, because the Imperials are strong on the ground with their big ATSTs.
There are 8 space units.
8 space units?
In this deck. There are a shit ton of ground. Because, I mean, the Rebels were meant to be like, okay, cheap units. Cheap units come out with ambush tactics to give them plus to kind of quickly attack you. And it makes thematic sense because the Rebels don't have an army. So, well, I mean, they do, but it's like, so it makes sense it's guerrilla tactics. I meant to try and beat you as quickly as possible.
It's 8. They just made Precon 8.
They just did a generator and then put those cards in. Yeah. But the other cards of these, like a lot of these cards are cheap. My most expensive card in here, it was Han, but like in terms of units, it's like 3 and 2. So from the beginning, I'm able to pump out units. And my tactics are, attack with unit. Boom. Like, and give it +3 damage. So it's like, I'm meant to try and beat you as quickly as possible. In a war of attrition, Imperial wins every time.
Right.
So
it's
it's like,
sense, but
it does make sense.
But yeah, so with the space and ground, it makes you have to approach the battle on 2 fronts.
Yes.
Because what I started doing in the first game, which I totally got blasted in the first game, was you were starting to overwhelm with the ground. So I was like, I'm just going to start throwing a bunch of space out and try to outpace you with space. But the Imperials have such strong ground units that there was no way to...
Which is exactly how I lost this round. It's like you got these ATSTs and you got... they were just insane. And it's like... Okay, well, I can't really... I mean, I had ways to exhaust them, which helped, and that's cool. So I'm not sitting here saying, like, this deck is shit.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's just...
It can be honed.
Deck building, and that's usually what you do. Like, Magic Precons, they weren't good until, like, 2018. And even then, they came out with, like, a D&D Precon set, and all those fucking sucked. So it's like, some of the Precons that come out can be good, but you can always make them way better. I agree. I do like the space and ground system. that kind of, again, there was a new Kickstarter I demoed at Gen called, I think it was called Awakened, and it had like two sides, because you were trying to, there's like a middle thing where you're trying to reunite a rider and his companion in the middle. That's how you win the game. And they had like cards that you played on each side. So it's an interesting deck building element where it's like, you could make an entire deck of just space units and just have a fleet armada, and that's really cool. Or you can do boots on the ground with you. I mean, that's what makes CCGs really neat when you're comparing it to Magic, where it's like, I want to go. I just want all Stormtroopers. If you have the resources, or if there's a deck building limit of you can only have so many of these cards in your deck.
You can only have 3 of the same
one
in your deck, but there's several different versions of Stormtroopers. Just like this, there was Stormtroopers.
But like, hey, this costs 2, this costs 2, this costs 2, and you just overwhelm with a bunch of Stormtroopers and attack. So there's definitely way more creative freedom, I think, with this deck building or with this CCG than some of the other ones that I've seen.
Are you done?
I was just gonna say, because the other ones that I've played, you mentioned you haven't dabbled into CCGs. Obviously, Magic is the most prolific one for me, but I did do the L5R one, Keyforge, which no, you didn't deck build.
That's true.
It wasn't a seed. You just bought a deck, and then it died. I know you did Game of Thrones. That was a living card game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was an LCG. Yeah. So I think
I've pretty much done all the LCGs except for Legend of the Five
Rings. Yeah.
I've done all the other ones.
Right. So, I definitely think this game is good. But here are my. You can go ahead and go.
I was just going to talk about the aspect of how you would go into your deck, because your base has a symbol.
Yep.
Your leader has 2 symbols. You can build your deck however the hell you want.
Mm-hmm.
But every card you play has symbols underneath the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you have that proper symbols for what you have between that, then it just costs the cost. But you can put other things in there that doesn't have, but it's +2 per symbol you don't have on your deals.
Yeah.
So you could put in whatever the hell you want. There's not, because in the LCGs, let's say in that Netrunner, they had influence costs, dots at the bottom, and you can only have up to 15 influence outside of your deal in your deck.
Got it.
Like this, you can do whatever the hell you want, but you just got to pay extra resources.
Pay a lot
if you want to do. And
so it's like you're not going to make a deck that clearly doesn't have any resource or any symbols that you don't have, but there's nothing stopping you from, there's nothing stopping me, let's say Luke is a unit, not a leader. There's nothing stopping Luke from being in an Imperial deck.
Right.
And that kind of creates its own storytelling element where it's like, oh, hey, Luke's on the dark side now. Suck it!
And there's a ton of bases. When you open up all those booster boxes, there's tons of leaders, and they all have different
Now, are the booster boxes seeded in a certain way? It's like, every pack comes with a leader and a booster. Or and a base. And then... because most of them do that, where it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon is you're guaranteed a legendary.
You're guaranteed not a legendary, but a rare.
But
I don't think every pack comes with
a leader and a
yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe so. I was trying to remember because it's been a while since I opened up all those.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so. Some most of them are 30 health. Some of them are less health. Some of them are more. Some of them, if they have less health, then they have an ability on them generally. Or if they're more health, they have a hindrance ability.
Yeah.
But they all have a different icon. Some of them have a couple of icons.
Okay.
There's just different. There's a ton of different ways, and your leaders are all crazy. Some leaders, will flip. Well, just like these. You had to have 6 resources to flip him. Vader was 7. There's some of them that flip at 3.
Oh, okay.
But they, it's interesting, because you can really do a lot of different cool deck things. I think.
Yeah.
I really haven't dove into the deck building aspect a whole lot, but because we run into the thing around this area. There's not really a play.
Yeah, there's probably not a huge competitive scene.
I think Hurley's, does tournaments every now and again.
Okay.
But
you're going to have to go to the bigger cities to organize them to get them into,
So it's I want to buy more. I'm itching to buy the next a couple boosters out of the next set, but it's like I don't.
Yeah, it's like, are you going to build? Are you going to build a bunch of decks? Yeah. So let's talk about the leaders, because that is the one that is definitely like there's no way it's not inspired by Commander. And if you're not familiar with Commander, it's basically the best way to play Magic. At this point, it's everyone plays Commander, and in that it's 99 card decks, 100 cards with one being the leader, and your commander, and it goes off in like the command zone. It's off on its own. And its mana cost dictates what mana you can have in your deck, whether it's from its ability or from its actual cost to bring it out. Similar to this, your leader has its icons and an overall ability that you can do, but it also has like an epic action that brings them out. I really like this, but there's something about it that I also don't like. That because in Commander, if you bring your commander out and it has health and it deals damage, if it dies, it goes back to the command zone and you put a token on it, and for each token it costs 2 more colorless mana. So let's say your thing costs 5, it gets this right now, it costs 7 to bring. But you can bring it back.
Handy, Dan.
And I wish that was here, because many times in the games that we've played of this, it's been who can get their leader out quicker, in the precons again, in the starter set. And it's like, oh, I got Luke out before you, but you got Darth Vader and you kill him immediately. I guess I don't get to use my leader. Yeah,
because Luke's died every time. Every time he's got out, he's died like quick.
Like, because again,
fast.
it's free to bring him out. It just pops off like to get him out, and it's like, okay, and he comes out readied, which is cool, and he goes to the ground area. But it's like, well, now I can't give my lightsaber to him, because he died immediately. And if you get Vader's lightsaber, then your health and damage goes up higher than I can do to one-shot you, so you could just one-shot me. And that one of the games we played was just that. Hell, Luke came out. Okay, I guess I have initiative. I guess I'll kill him. Okay.
Yeah, because I could have waited on that one, but I wasn't going to kill Vader that quick. I was thinking, because that card that Imperials had, that resupply.
Yeah.
That lets you put, so you could do that mid-turn, and he would just pop out readied, because he would have 7 resources. If it had 6 and he just played that and it became the 7th, then he could just come right out.
That is true.
Ready to go.
Yeah, because it is an epic action, so you do that to bring them out. So it's like, it's not that I don't hate that they can't be killed, because they are pretty powerful. I just wish that it wasn't just like, well, they're never coming out the rest of the game. And clearly this game is designed to be quick. It's not meant to be because games of Commander can take hours. This is not designed to be that. But
this
it's
is like Star Realms.
Yeah,
it's a lot like Star Realms as far as, because Star Realms doesn't take very long either.
That's true.
I mean, I get more Star Realms feel out of this than a lot of other games that get compared to Star Realms.
That's true. Besides Hero Realms,
because you're hitting. Well, right. Oh, yeah, right. But those are the same. I mean, like other games that kind of have that, because it really is pretty damn similar.
Right.
I mean, you're attacking the base for points. You have the healing units. You have the
it's difficult in a game like this where there's you have no instance, and that's kind of a thing that I feel like these games need to have. Ways for me to interrupt your turn. Ways for me to do something. Because in Magic, again, it's like, if I have a unit that has a tap ability, let's say you're going to kill him, it's like, in response, I'm going to use his ability, and then I can do something before you kill him.
Right.
In this case, it's like, it'd be nice if, let's say, I bring out Leia. Okay, Leia comes out, whatever, she has her ability. In response, I'm going to do Luke's action to give her a shield token. But the problem with his ability already is that, because it's an action, you only get one action on your turn, I played her.
Yeah, she has to survive that.
She has to survive for me to be like, oh, okay, give a shield token to a unit you played this phase. Well, I can't because they fucking died already.
Yeah. The other aspect, I think the thing that annoyed me the most with this game, and I know they have the Sentinel word, the keyword, and all that stuff, is that you can't react to an attack.
I hate that is my
that's
least
probably
favorite
my big.
thing.
That's probably my, because you should be able to he has only 1 health left, and if you were going to attack something, I'd be like, yeah, I'll just sacrifice him. And
Yeah,
kill it,
you
so
chump
don't do the
block.
base,
That's
you know?
exactly what that is. Chump block. That's why overwhelm matters. That's why trample matters. Because it's like, if I don't have something with trample, I can have a 50-50, and this is the magic, I can have a 50-50 attack. You can block it with a 1/1 rat.
Right.
It'd be stupid if it's like, well, I have 50 damage, I'll attack you, I win. It's so dumb that it's like, well, I have Leia and Luke out, and you have Vader, and you're going to attack my base, and they're just like, get it, Dad!
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, why can't I sit there and be like, okay, do I want to keep this unit? Or, to make shields better, where it's like, if you choose to attack the base, I mean, they can fix it where it's like, I want to target that unit and attack. But it's like, if you choose to attack the base, you should be able to block.
Yeah.
With a unit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever side you're doing.
If you're
So
attacking,
then a space. Yeah.
I have to block with a space unit.
Yeah.
If you're attacking with the ground, I can block it with the ground. Because it incentivizes that decision making, and that's what would make this particular deck really good. Because then it allows for me to chump block without sacrifice. I get the shield tokens. That's nice. Where it's like, hey, I'm going to put a shield token on Leia, so that if you attack my base, I can chump block and she doesn't die. Yeah, being able to just willingly bypass everything. I could have 1,000,000 units on this fucking side, and according to whatever these rules are saying, I can't willingly block.
Yeah.
I have scoured through that to be like, does the defender
Yeah,
get to do
it doesn't say
anything?
anything.
Nope.
Yep. Yeah, and I guess the last positive thing I'll say.
Because from here on out, it's all negatives.
Well, no, I'm just meaning because we've talked a lot about, kind of dissect it down, is a lot of these games are keyword heavy.
Yeah.
And there's really only 8 keywords you really have to know so far.
And they're pretty straightforward.
And
In the pre-con starter sets, they're in parentheses anyway. Mm-hmm. Now that'll go away. Like, it'll just start saying ambush as the game gets more and more complex.
Right.
But the keywords are nice. And even talking about the keywords, to go back into the fact that what I really, really dislike about this game is the no blocking. Sentinel still can be in the game, because Sentinel is like, okay, if you're going to target something, you have to target this. You don't willingly get to choose. It's not like, oh, you're attacking my base, you have to target the Sentinel. You have to go after him, even if you're trying to attack another unit. Mm-hmm. So Sentinel can still work as an extra measure of defense for your base, because if that's what this game was trying to, or this deck was trying to do, like Sentinel, I mean, it's barely in here. So it's like, yeah, I understand what this was trying to do, but one, it cost a shit ton. So Vigilant Honor Guards cost 5 to bring out 4 damage, 6 health, and it's like, and that Sentinel also only works when it's undamaged. So it's like, okay, I guess it can only block once.
Yeah, unless you have ways of healing and stuff.
Right, which this deck kind of has, so it's like, it doesn't work. I don't like that you just kind of have to sit there and take it, because then the game just devolves into, well, you have more units than me, I have 0 chance. I'll scoop, you know? And that alone is just so frustrating. Like, and then the initiative thing, like that's clearly from War Chest, where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to use this to take initiative, so I go first. But in War Chest, you can't do that if you have initiative. Like, I can't sit here and just pass and be like, I'm going to keep initiative. It's like, no, you can't do that. You already have initiative. That's not fair to just sit there and be like, oh, nope, I'm just going to keep going first. So...
But I guess if you're doing that, then...
I mean, you're passing.
The other person.
Yeah, it would have been... I mean, I like it better in War Chest, because at least it costs a token for you to take initiative. And you can only do... So it's like, okay, well, sometimes you want to use that token for something else. It would be nice if it was like this. It's like spend a resource to take initiative or something, instead of just getting to do it. I don't know. I don't really like how initiative works, because I feel like it can just add insult to injury, where it's like, okay, you have no resources, you have no units, and it's my turn. Well, I I could attack, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna take initiative and then just really steamroll you. So, I mean, basically, my biggest issues with it is it's not really okay. My biggest issue is the attacking, but minor issue is that the starter sets should be good on their own to incentive, because like if these were both good and it's like, oh man, yeah, no, like we've had like it's been really balanced or really close each time. I kind of want to get into this, but it's like I have no incentive. Even I mean, that's me personally. I don't do CCGs, but even if I was like, maybe I'll do one CCG. These precons did not do enough for me to be like, yeah, let me go buy more. Let me go get more of a shitty rebel, shitty rebel cards.
See, and it makes me want to. It actually, it has the opposite for me, because now that we've played this, now I want to go and build
a better rebel deck
to see how I can make that deck.
And
better.
that is probably how most people are,
right? Because I love deck building, and creating stuff, and that's
too for
50% of the fun of playing the game is me as just building decks.
I do agree with you, because I was in that headspace when I was really into Magic, and it wasn't that I fell out of Magic because I didn't like the game. I think Magic is one of the deepest. I mean, it's 31 years old. Any CCG that comes out is just like, it's better than... No, it's fucking not. Your game is not going to last 30 years and still going strong. No one's buying a Star Wars Unlimited card for $2 million because from Post Malone. Like, it's not happening. But this game, I think this game does have legs, and I think I'm not incentivized to build a better Rebel deck. I'm more incentivized to come up with cool concepts for a deck, and that is fun. To be like, okay, yeah, like we both made our decks, now let's play and see how they work. And you do that. It's a lot of rinse, repeat, and being like, okay, I put too many of this card in. This card's not really working the way I was hoping it would. This leader ability, because I'm wondering, maybe I'm thinking the leaders are too closely to a commander, because in Commander, you build your deck around your commander. At least you should. Here, maybe you don't do that. Maybe your leader is just an extra free unit. Maybe you don't build your deck around it, and it's just... But to me, I think I would want to. I would want to make Luke's ability pop off a lot more, but I fucking can't, because it takes a whole another turn to be able to do it.
Yeah, there's... I would be interested to see, at some point I need to teach you Destiny, and to see how it would compare to this, because in Destiny... when you have your main characters, because not every card has a dice, but there's characters and things that do, and it has the faces of the dice over here, and depending on what you roll, depends on what that card does. Yeah. And it just seems like, and you have some options, you have some reroll options, different stuff. It just, that one to me, I like Destiny's better than this, just because, you have a couple of characters you have to kill. That's how you do it. You have to kill all those characters. And stuff, and it's just...
I'd be very surprised if I like Destiny's more than this, because it reminds me of like Ashes and competitive games that rely on luck, where it's like, oh, well, I didn't get any of the symbols I needed, so I guess I'm not fucking doing anything this whole game. Yeah. That just feels like it's kind of the same way as like, well, I'm still drawing cards, Oh, I'm not drawing any of the cards I need. It's the same kind of argument, but I feel like dice just irk me more. But I mean, I don't know. I haven't played Destinies. This game actually kind of went about how I thought it would. I didn't think I don't think this was ever going to be like trash. I don't think I was ever going to sit here and be like, this game fucking sucks. But it was never going to be like, dude, where can I get all the cards? Like, I really want to get into this. But I'm leaning a little bit more into... Well, you have a bunch of cards.
No, I'm probably buying.
I'm
gonna buy the next.
I'm like, so, like, and I live a lot closer now.
Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, if you want to play it, it's like, okay, I'll use your cards and make a deck. Because who the hell are you gonna play this with? No one.
No, I know. No, I think after playing this though, just because I'm a sucker for this shit, I'll probably buy 2 or 3. I don't know if I'll buy the starter for the next
cards.
set, but. I mean, maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll probably get 2 more boosters. I'll get 2 boosters for the next set. See what I get.
I think the long and short of it is the starter set is. I mean, how much was the starter set?
Like 25.
Okay, like
I think.
so it's $25. That is nice because I think each commander deck is like 20, maybe a little bit
Commander
more.
deck. Like when you buy them.
They were when last time I bought
Oh god,
commanders.
they're way more than that.
Okay, then they went up.
Because I think they run about 50 to 60 a deck now.
God damn.
Like, because I mean it costs about $200.
No, actually that might be right. I think I'm just thinking of standard decks. I think standard Magics were like around 20,
Yeah.
but that makes more sense.
Those Fallout ones I bought, it was like 200, and it was going to be about $200.
Yeah, that's true. So it's definitely it's a low point of entry. How much is a booster box?
120, 140.
And you get how many
I
packs?
want to say it's like 24 packs, maybe.
That's not
something like
bad.
that. Something I can't
So-
remember exactly because it's been a while.
Yeah,
But
so it feels.
I have an entire huge sorter box
Yeah.
full of cards.
Yeah,
from
so it feels, again, low point of entry, not as low as Keyforge, but this game is way better than Keyforge. Like, I want to actually play this again. I'm kind of been like, oh yeah, dude, maybe one day I'll just come over and we'll build a deck and play to see how it works. That, Keyforge, I'm just like, well, done with this.
Yeah.
Like, this deck fucking sucked. It was only $12, but I could have gotten McDonald's for that. Yeah, the other thing that wasn't entirely clear, but we kind of go as written, and that might make this deck a little bit better, is cards like where is it? Ambush or whatever it was. It was a tactic. Not that. Surprise attack. Attack with a unit, it gets +3 for this attack. So there's a couple nuanced things that I'm not 100% sure that weren't really answered, and we went with as written. So I would like to know if anyone
They
knows.
have an FAQ. I'll have to look at.
Yeah,
it.
because it's some cards like in I'm sorry, and I hate bringing up Magic all the time, but
Well, I mean, it's the
but
CCG.
this to me, this would make this really good, especially for this deck if it didn't tap the unit. Because we have that question where it's like, well, it says attack with a unit, and when you attack, you exhaust it to
Right.
attack. So that's what we were doing. But it's like, well, it's a surprise strike, so thematically, it could be like I just get to attack without exhausting, and then I can still exhaust with them for the lower value. My X-Wing, I attack for 5 damage, and on a later turn, I can tap it to attack for 2.
Yeah, and then the other thing we had gray area with was, well, Vader's deal 2 damage to a unit.
Yes.
He's a ground unit. We took deal damage, meaning anything,
Yes.
but attack meant stay in your zone. So it could be different. It may have to be that. I don't
Exactly,
it didn't
yeah.
specify. The rule book is about as minimal as you can fucking
It
get.
does say quick start rules
Right.
there,
so
but
so there's like no diving into the rules
Yeah,
as
and-
much.
yeah.
So
these games live off of FAQs and online forums and stuff to figure out new ones. I mean, I had to teach Magic one time, and I was like, no, Magic's pretty straightforward. And as I started teaching, I'm like, oh, never mind. No, it is not.
yeah, they probably didn't even need that because it has everything on this.
The player mat
that's in the rulebook
is nice as a reference thing,
Yeah.
but after like one game, I was like, I'm fucking done with this.
Well, and I'll probably because if I can find that big, because there's a big map that has the zones. They're not labeled,
Okay.
but there's
Yeah,
zones
I felt
kinda-
way more free. Kind of have these in the
Yeah.
middle, and like, okay, my base and my leader are separating the two zones, and I had the freedom for the resources. That was nice. But yeah, those are the two like nuanced things that it's like, well, technically it says deal damage to a unit. This is like it's a ship. This is a unit, so you can.
Right.
Does it have? Are the lanes like vacuum? Like in a vacuum, you can
Right.
You can only deal damage or attack within there, or can you cross the zones?
Well, yeah, and I think we played it by if it says deal damage, we could do anywhere. Attack, we had the
Attack
same
had to be in
deal.
the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, so
So I don't know.
we'll look into it. But
I think, yeah. I don't know. I'm really conflicted on this one. Like, there's a lot of things about this that I really like, but there's a lot of things I also really don't like. But I think there's more about it that I like than not. Because even then, like this game that we just played, where it's like, okay, I'll try the Rebel deck. You were at 21. I could have gotten you to 25, but I was like, so it's like it was 5 HP difference of attack of winning. So it's like, okay, well that's a lot closer. So it's like I don't think it's like, wow, what the fuck did you just burn these cards. Don't even try to make this deck good. So with that being said, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving Star Wars Unlimited? The starter set specifically.
Yeah, starter set specifically, I'm going to do 7.
Okay.
But with the deck building possibilities and the theme and everything, it'll definitely having the aspect of building decks. It's going to at least be an 8, 8.5 after that.
And I know you've looked at. These are the only cards that I have seen. So you're definitely aware of what the possibilities are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also at a 7. Like, I do think this is a good game. Maybe like fix or clarify a few more rules that I'm not going to delve into, like, because I don't care enough to be like, well, how does deal damage work? Because I'm not going to own this game. But clarify a few rules and see some potential for deck building. I could also see this go up, but I'm pleasantly surprised. I think this is good. You got anything else? Cool. Well, that's our thoughts on Star Wars Unlimited. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.